Out of eyes tryna put me on a t-shirt. Shorty want me so bad, do your knees hurt? Yeah, I'm counting paper guap in my beamer, yeah. Choice. If you want one, there you coming with a paper. I ain't texting shorty back, see you later.
What's up, guys? I'm Landon from Shoeware, and today we're checking out the Adidas D-Rose Son of Chai in this I'll Show You colorway. So first, thank you guys for stopping by to check us out. Feel free to drop a follow or subscribe wherever you're watching and give this video a like. We would greatly appreciate that. So, starting off with the box, Derrick Rose has his own player logo kind of show up on the top, which is actually a really cool design. It's got the letter D kind of surrounded by like a rose design. So, a little bit more creativity than just going with the initials like, most players are going to get. And then you're going to have that like Son of Chai text kind of show up on the back side of the box. And then for pricing, these are about as good as it gets for $100 for retail. So, definitely a lot to like about that. So before we get into the materials and the performance, let's just go ahead and run down the appearance for these first. So like I said, this is going to be the I'll Show You colorway for the Adidas D-Rose Son of Chai. And honestly, I kind of love the look of this shoe. I will put this out there now, though, that Derrick Rose was one of my favorite players growing up, whenever he was at college at Memphis and like in his early years on the Chicago Bulls. But his comeback story is just like really amazing. I won't really get into what he went through, like just what he's gone through, but it's still a really cool story if you want to go and check that out, just to kind of see how far he's come to get where he's at now. So to hit on a few details, you do have like a snakeskin design on the upper, which is actually meant to like resemble D Rose, kind of shedding the former MVP and like high flyer that he used to be and kind of transforming into more of a veteran leader with an increasingly better jump shot. And he's kind of gone to more of like the runner and floater game instead of like playing above the rim like he used to. So I mean, I guess just the small details and like symbolizations are pretty sweet for this specific shoe. But even with that, these still do follow kind of a basic, like a pretty basic look aside from those personal touches and like the backstory part. There's a little bit of a web design on the upper for these, and these honestly kind of remind me of the same overall flow to the Adidas Mad Bounce, just with that design. They have like the same basic structure. So, not anything super eye-catching about this D-Rose shoe, but, still nothing to knock on it. All right, so for the last half of this review, I'll cover more of the materials and the performance side of how these shoes do on the court. So starting off with cushioning, as displayed on the midsole, these are using an Adidas Bounce cushion. So that's just kind of a thicker setup in the back. And then the shoe sort of like narrows out kind of towards the front. So while this isn't the most comfortable feel, it does kind of lead to having pretty solid responsiveness. And I would probably say that the light strike and like the boost midsole that Adidas uses on a bunch of like other shoe lines and like other signature athletes, those do have somewhat of a softer feel. And then you can kind of see that there's just not really a lot of give to the midsole on these when you do apply some pressure, but that doesn't always tell the full story. I just didn't really get that like bouncy foam feel similar to some other basketball shoes with this model. So the support on these, I would say it's pretty good, maybe not great, and that's kind of somewhat because of the cheaper materials used on the upper. The snakeskin, it looks cool, and so does that webbing up there, but the upper is pretty much all synthetic, and Adidas has the upper being constructed like with a coated leather upper, but you can just kind of tell that these do have a cheaper feel to them. Still very breathable, so the ventilation, that's definitely not bad, but on sharper cuts, you can feel the upper move just a little bit. But, honestly, that's not really my concern with these. They still do give you a, an above average locked in feel. I'm just not sure how well these are going to hold up over time with like consistent use because, you have to remember these things are retailing for only $100. So, Adidas, they still did what they could. So to finish off with traction, we definitely saved the best for last for this review because that is going to be the strong point for this D-Rose model. I mean, these do follow kind of a herringbone pattern that runs both vertically and horizontally kind of across the shoe. And, these shoes are just straight up sticky. I mean, they grip the floor so well. And this was my first use, so I mean, it will be interesting to see, with different surfaces. Sometimes those like stickier shoes, they start to lose some of their bite on dirty floors, but as far as clean surfaces, these were really nice to ball in. So these do have a rubber outsole, which I imagine is going to translate pretty well for outdoor use, but at the very least, this is going to be one of the cheaper shoes anyways. But as for sizing, these pretty much are a true to size fit. You know, surprisingly, maybe a little bit on the snug side. So, you know, definitely keep that in mind if you're someone who prefers extra space, or if you even just like normally go a half size down with Adidas, because you might not actually need to do that on this shoe. But, you know, overall, I am pumped to see D Rose killing it on the court again. And, you know, I honestly am a fan of this new model. There are a few places where you can see that there's a little bit of a lack in the where the price kind of shows in, like the cushioning a little below average. Same thing with like the support and the materials, more so the materials, but you know, definitely a really good bang for your buck on this low budget shoe. But that pretty much wraps up our unboxing and performance review for the Adidas D Rose Son of Chai. If you're interested in purchasing these shoes, just go ahead and check out the links in the description below. And then last, feel free to leave a comment below if you like this video, or just letting us know any other shoes that you may want us to check out. But until next review, I'm Landon from Shoeware. Peace.